Do you believe in magic? I know you do. And on today's episode of Life's Potluck Buffet, we're going to talk about a magical occurrence. Well, actually, two magical occurrences that are going to coincide this year. So stick around. I'm John Paulus. Thanks for listening. Do you recognize this sound? If you do, then you know what I'm talking about. It's 2024, which means that not one, but two broods of periodical cicadas are going to emerge in the eastern United States. And, okay, I'm going to rewind. First of all, you might ask, what is a periodical cicada? Now, if you look at the thumbnail for today's episode, you'll see my rendering of a Life's Potluck Buffet style periodical cicada. Periodical cicadas are of the genus Magicicada, and they're insects, but they're very different from the cicadas that wherever you are in the world, you may hear in the summertime, which happen annually. Those are annual cicadas, and they're very common in many places in the world during the summertime. And in fact, it's one of the sounds of summer as we think about it in a lot of places. But the Magicicada only appears in places in today's United States of America, from someplace in Oklahoma to the east, and then from basically the Great Lakes to the south in areas of deciduous forest. The forest is absolutely critical, and I'll get to why in a second or so. So the Magicicada brood emerges from the ground in trillions. I think I saw the number 1.5 million per acre. I don't know what that is in hectares, but you'll have to just look that up. But that's a lot. And then, we're talking about many, many, many acres, not just a couple of, not just 1,000 acres here. 10,000, 100,000. I mean, I think maybe it's larger than trillions, quadrillions. There are a lot. And they make a noise, a very loud noise that you heard on an example of earlier in the episode. They are also eaten by animals and also by people now, because there's some chefs who have come up with some, I've seen things like cicada tacos and things like that. Apparently they taste like shrimp. I've never eaten one. I have heard them. The last time one of the broods that's emerging this year emerged in the Chicagoland area, I drove out to I think it was probably, hi everyone in Chicago. I think it was probably the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, and opened up the windows of the car, and you could just, the sound was just enveloping. They need to have undisturbed ground. So in the city of Chicago, at least where I was, there was so much ground that had been moved because of just urban development that there were no cicadas of the periodical type. Of course, the annual type, plenty. At least none that I heard. So going out to a place where there are undisturbed forests is critical if you're going to hear the Magicicada, and that's just a simple fact. Okay, so what goes on there? Well, they come up, they mate, and noise is part of the mating call, so there's that as well, and then the female lays the eggs in notches cut into tree branches, and then they develop and as nymphs fall to the ground, and they burrow until for a little ways, and then they stay there for 2 different time periods, and it's kind of magical. One appears every 17 years, and there's about 12 non-extinct, because some broods have gone extinct. Broods mean they emerge in a certain place at a certain interval. So there are 12, I think, broods of 17-year cicadas, and one of those, brood 13, which I know it's 13 of 12. It doesn't sound, but you get the point. There's some extinct ones. So for example, brood 12 and brood 11 are extinct. So brood 13 is going to emerge in 2024, which is this year. And there are 3 broods around of 13-year cicadas. And the 13-year cicadas, the brood 19, is going to emerge this year at the same time. And they're in 2 different places. One brood, the brood 19, is, let's say Southern Illinois, Missouri, parts of Arkansas, parts of maybe a little bit of northern Louisiana, and then all across the kind of forest lands in Alabama and somewhat northern Georgia and the northwestern part of South Carolina, and through the forest, in North Carolina. And the other brood, largely going to emerge in northern Illinois, very southern part of Wisconsin, and the eastern part of Iowa. And those are going to emerge at the same time. The last time that happened was 1803. And the next time it's going to happen is 2245. That sounds really futuristic. But in 2270, it's going to sound like the distant past. So the reason that they emerge in the forest and that they need to be in a forest floor is because they live off of part of the tree roots of deciduous trees. So if you don't have deciduous trees and you don't have those tree roots and you don't have forests, then they're not going to be able to survive. So that's why if you see where they are, there's that it strongly correlates with where there are woods. The other thing about it is that they need to have a certain temperature to emerge, so they know that it's time to emerge. And that temperature is going to occur in most of these places anywhere from probably mid-May to June, somewhere in there. It's going to start. It depends on what the ground temperature is, because the ground temperature has to be a certain temperature for the nymphs to emerge and go up the trees and develop and so forth and get the whole cycle going again. So today, with the magic of cicadas, of Magis cicadas in mind, I'm going to draw one card for brood 13 and one card for brood 19. And we're going to see, that'd be really cool. Okay, let's see if the deck is able to pull this off. Deck, I'm requesting card 13 and card 19. Here we go. Almost dropped the card on the floor. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3 casual shuffles, as I call them. And then we're just going to do a large shuffle. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. I'm going to pull out one card right here. Oh, it's card 14. We were so close. We were so close. All right. So that was card 14. That was the first card. All right. Let's see what what the next one that's calling to me is. That's this one right here. Oh, it's card 18. Oh my goodness. Cards, you were one off on both counts, but that was amazing. So first card, card 14. If you were in a race against yourself, you can never catch up. We talked about that recently. And card 18 is know what you do unconsciously. And we've often talked about that. So those are the cards for today. If you're in a race against yourself, you can never catch up. And know what you do unconsciously. And I'll see you tomorrow for the magic of Life's Potluck Buffet. And there'll be no cicadas tomorrow. It's January 31st.